Good morning, viewers. This is Global Entertainment News TV. I am your host, Bisola, and welcome to our newspaper review segment. Let's start with the punch. 6 month suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA orders knock Senate. 6 month suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA orders knock Senate. Moving on to the next. Kogi senator's lawyer says suspension illegal. PDP kicks. Senate insists its rules violated. Kogi senator's lawyer says suspension illegal. PDP kicks. Senate insists its rules violated. Moving on to the next. Marketers worry as 5 month fuel imports hit 6 trillion naira. Marketers worry as 5 month fuel imports hit 6 trillion naira. Up to the next. Nigerians pay highest airfares in Africa, says NCAA. Nigerians pay highest airfares in Africa, says NCAA. To the next. Rivers crisis. Police vow to crush militants threatening oil production. Rivers crisis. Police vow to crush militants threatening oil production. To the next headline. FG designates Simon Ekpa, 16 others terrorism funders. FG designates Simon Ekpa, 16 others terrorism funder. Moving on to the next. Sanwo-Olu opens new roads, promise more infrastructure. Sanwo-Olu opens new roads, promises more infrastructure. Up to the next. Litigation won't stop. Alaafin's coronation, says Makinde. Litigation won't stop Alaafin's coronation, says Makinde. To the next headline. 4 billion naira debt. Air Force men attack IKEDC. Brutalized punchmen orders. 4 billion naira debt. Air Force men attack IKEDC. Brutalized punchmen orders. To the next. Alleged fraud. Ex-ministers detained in EFCC facility. Alleged fraud. Ex-minister detained in EFCC facility. That's it for the punch. We move to the Vanguard. Senate suspends Senator Akpoti Uduaghan for 6 months. Senate suspends Senator Akpoti Uduaghan for 6 months. Moving on to the next. Power generation rises 30% amid challenges. Power generation rises 30% amid challenges. Up to the next. Simon Ekpa orders sanctioned for alleged terrorism financing. Simon Ekpa orders sanctioned for alleged terrorism financing. To the next headline. Autonomy. ALGON asks LG chairman to approach CBN for documentation. Autonomy. ALGON asks LG chairman to approach CBN for documentation. Moving on to the next. Rivers crisis. Militant group spits fire, threatens oil production. River crisis. Militant group spits fire, threatens oil production. To the next headline. Reps move to strip INEC of power to regulate political party. Reps move to strip INEC of power to regulate political parties. Moving on to the next. Blackout. Angry Air Force personnel invade Ikeja discos, batter employees. Blackout. Angry Air Force personnel invade Ikeja discos, batter employees. That's it for the Vanguard. We move to the Nation. Supreme Court. No evidence. 27 Rivers lawmakers defected. No evidence. 27 Rivers lawmakers defected. Moving on to the next. Senate suspend Akpoti Uduaghan for 6 months. Senate suspend Akpoti Uduaghan for 6 months. Up to the next. Tinubu hires 774 healthcare volunteers. Tinubu hires 774 healthcare volunteers. Moving on to the next headline. Air Force men invaded Ikeja discos over power cuts to NAF base. Air Force men invaded Ikeja discos over power cuts to NAF base. Up to the next. Sanwo-Olu cautions landlords over arbitrary rent increase. Sanwo-Olu cautions landlords over arbitrary rent increase. Up to the next. EFCC secures forfeitures of $1.1 million seized from women at airports. EFCC secures forfeitures seized from women at airports. Moving on to the next. Troop kills $1 million from Soyinka theatre. CBN eyes $25 billion from Soyinka theatre. Up to the next. EFCC squeeze ex-minister Uju Ohaneye. EFCC squeeze ex-minister Uju Ohaneye. That's it for The Nation. We move to The Guardian. 10th Assembly. Pro-people legislation shadowed by House drama intrudes. Pro-people legislation shadowed by House drama intrude. Moving on to the next. Tinubu approves 80% dialysis subsidy, hires 774 national health fellows. Tinubu approves 80% dialysis subsidy, hires 774 national health fellows. Moving on to the next. Militant threatens oil installation attacks in river of order evacuation. Militant threaten oil installation attacks in rivers order evacuation. Moving on to the next. Court orders permanent forfeiture of $1.5 million fund linked to Emefiele. Court orders permanent forfeitures of $1.4 million funds linked to Emefiele. Up to the next. Furore as Senate slams 6-month suspension on Akpoti Uduaghan. Furore as Senate slams 6-month suspension on Akpoti Uduaghan. To the next headline. DHQ queries Nigerians' terrorism index ranking as FG frees access to terror financiers. DHQ queries Nigerians' terrorism index ranking as FG frees assets of terror financiers. Moving on to the next. Controversy over merit as FG reverses Chukwu appointment as Adun VC. Controversy over merit as FG reverses Chukwu appointment as Adun VC. Moving on to the next. Air Force personnel invaded IKEDC office, allegedly assault workers over power disconnection. Air Force personnel invaded IKED office, allegedly assault workers over power disconnection. Moving on to the next. FG plans new rehabilitation camp for bandits, terrorists. FG plans new rehabilitation camp for bandits, terrorists. Up to the next. Catholic Church decries wave of kidnappings targeting priests, pastoral agents. Catholic Church decries wave of kidnappings targeting priests, pastoral agents. And that's it for our newspaper review segment. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more news and updates on Global Entertainment News TV. Until next time, I've been your host, Tibusola. Have a blessed day. Bye.